Ireland. An Irish family was made to quarantine to
I'm Irish.
Casey's
You
land.
didn't know.
Oh my god, I wanted to ask you the pronunciation of their name. Like when it comes to that, I'm gonna ask you because I don't know how to pronounce it.
Great. Okay, fantastic. Because some Irish names are easy as for us, and they get a lot of stick by some people who don't live in Ireland about the pronunciation and the spelling.
That's with every nationality. I feel like a lot of the
true.
names that I can pronounce, like it's difficult for others to.
Yeah, and I butcher some names on this live show. I do. That's okay. Let's watch you butcher some Irish ones to leave it up.
I'm not gonna butcher it. You're gonna say how to say it anyway. So an Irish family was made to quarantine despite COVID negative results. So an Irish family was made to quarantine 12 days despite all family members having COVID negative results. And the family of 5 were heading back to home, back to Ireland, their home from Australia, and transited through Dubai for 45 minutes. And this led to a mandatory 12-day quarantine in Dublin because Dubai is in one of the high-risk areas, and if you do pass by, you will have to comply to a mandatory quarantine. And the O'Dowd,
That actually sounds quite Irish. The O'Dowd family.
the O'Dowd family, then it's not funny.
The O'Dowd family.
O'Dowd family lodged an appeal against their mandatory hotel quarantine, and the appeal was based on the concern that Michelle O'Dowd had over welfare. So she had concerns over the welfare of her teenagers, 9, 12, and 6, and if they were to remain in quarantine for 12 days. So obviously social media were mortified by this concern, and they're like, okay, this family has incredibly unrealistic high standards, and they were demanding very high standards from the hotel. And on one hand, the Irish family expressed their shock over the conditions of the hotel quarantine, and on the other, users responded back with shock over the misuse of their privilege. And then, as you can tell, a thread of backlash followed, and the family was just like, okay, the hotel space is too small. But there was a video showing, like, the mother took a video of the entire hotel space, and it was a 2-bedroom hotel apartment, 3 beds. It was very spacious, and for 12 days, like, you know, if you're going to be traveling at this time, you know what you're getting yourself into. So it was social media was kind of annoyed that this is the reaction from the family after going on a leisure trip and coming back and not wanting to comply with COVID regulations. But there were still some in support of the family, and they were questioning why the family weren't given options for their hotel quarantine. Like they were questioning why the family of 5 weren't offered a better room with a space for the kids to run around and a balcony so they can get fresh air. So it was kind of like the internet was kind of divided. But that's with anything, like
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There's never going to be an internet conversation when the whole world is like, yes, I agree with that. Good story. But this is a really interesting one because quarantine has just been introduced in Ireland in the last week.
Okay.
So I think people are just kind of getting used to it, and I think this family in particular, because they came from, like you said, Australia, where there's
Zero cases. Yeah.
but they flew through Dubai. It is a bit of a sticky situation because you're coming through Dubai, which is a high risk country.
Yeah.
So therefore, you would expect that.
Sticky? This is sticky.
It's a sticky situation, and you can. I kind of think that in this case, the laws are there for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And Ireland, who has been under very strict lockdown, you know, all my friends back at home have not had a life for the last year.
Yeah.
They're having, you know, they're literally no social interaction. So the laws are there for a reason. Ireland is going to continue that strict. So the fact that, you know, people coming in from Dubai, if they were allowed out into society and if cases did rise, it would be an issue. But however, there's another story. So quarantine in Ireland is kind of taking lots of headlines because there's another story of 3 guys who arrived in from a Dubai flight, and they actually went on a smoke break during their hotel quarantine in Dublin, and then they just ran. They pegged it.
Ran?
Gone.
Peace.
So they're searching for them. They haven't found them at the moment. I think one went down to Waterford, which is where I'm from, 3 hours away, and then he went back to quarantine. There's other 2 on the run. Dubai or Irish authorities are working with the Irish health authorities because this could be fines of I can't remember exactly, maybe €1,000 and a 1-month prison fine for when they are caught, because these are the laws and the laws are there for a reason. And if they are to become spreaders of the virus,
Yeah.
it's like that causes untold damage, untold cost to the health
Very
system,
true, yeah.
untold cost to people's families. So I don't know. I don't know who's running away. They were on a smoke break and they ran. I don't know what they were thinking. If it was pre-planned, it was just a mess.
It is so irresponsible. And the thing is, people really comply to regulations in the UAE and Dubai. Like expats, they come here and they won't complain about any of the rules, the regulations, which is obviously good and there for your safety. But when they go back to their home country, like even like with Indians, they'll go back and it's just like, you know what, it's our place, we'll do whatever. They won't comply, they'll complain about the government. It's like,
that is a very good point,
right? Like you go back to your home and you think like, okay, it's your home and you'll get away with anything, but that's so irresponsible. Like people just, they lose all sense of ethics. And once they're out of Dubai and they know like, okay, like in Dubai and the UAE, they have their restrictions and they'll comply with regulations, but no.
It just seems that there's a level of respect here.
Yeah.
Because I guess we're majority, 90% of us aren't from here. We respect the country that is providing us with a living. We respect the country that's providing us with a standard of lifestyle and that we may not get at home. And therefore we respect it. We respect the rules and regulations to the point that the country was able to open up. However, in your home country, we just see, you mentioned India, and I see kind of headlines in England, Ireland. I see Twitter wars in England and Ireland about everything. And we get a lot of Twitter conversations here. They can be nasty, but not to the extent in any way, shape or form of other countries. And that's one of the reasons I quite enjoy living here. There's a lot of negativity that surround it's
bubbled out, actually.
Government and voting in other countries, and we don't have it here. So it's one of the reasons I quite
nice
living here.
Having that negativity bubbled out for us. You know, someone said Dubai is like Disneyland, and it's nothing wrong with Dubai being like we've made it Disneyland. The people living here and the government authorities, like we've made sure that positivity is so high that it does feel like Disneyland, which is good.
And that's why people are
flocking here. What is that?
Yeah. Will we overuse our sound effects on the first day?
Yes.
No.
No.
Yes. No.
No.